The entire restaurant fell silent the moment the old man slammed his cane against the marble floor. Crystal glasses trembled, waiters froze mid-step. Even the billionaire's son, known for his cold, commanding presence, looked uneasy beside his father. No one dared speak to the billionaire's father. No one dared even meet his eyes. Until a young waitress, barely 23, whispered a single Italian word that changed everything. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of simple words to heal broken hearts, take a moment to like this video. Share it with someone who needs hope today. Comment your thoughts and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories that stay with you long after they end. Her name was Sofia Marino, the daughter of immigrants who had come to the city with nothing but a suitcase and recipes passed down through generations. She worked double shifts at the upscale restaurant, not because she loved the polished silverware or the wealthy clientele, but because her father's medical bills were piling up. Every tip mattered. Every smile, even the forced ones, mattered. And tonight, of all nights, she could not afford trouble. The billionaire's father, Vittorio De Luca, was infamous. Widowed, sharp-tempered, and impossibly proud, he was a man who had built an empire from scratch decades ago after arriving from Italy with empty pockets and fierce ambition. Now, in his late 70s, dressed in a perfectly tailored tuxedo, he carried the weight of success like armor. But armor is heavy, and it hides wounds no one sees. When Sofia approached the table with the leather-bound menu pressed to her chest, she felt the tension immediately. Staff had warned her in hushed tones. Do not speak unless spoken to. Do not make eye contact for too long. Do not make mistakes. Her hands trembled slightly as she recited the evening specials. Vittorio interrupted her with a harsh wave of his hand. His voice cut through the air like broken glass. He criticized the lighting, the music, the seating arrangement. He complained that the restaurant no longer felt like it once did. The other servers stood rigid near the entrance, praying she would finish quickly and escape without humiliation. But Sofia did something no one expected. She looked at him, not with defiance, not with fear, but with recognition. She saw something others missed, the faint accent still clinging to his English, the way his fingers tightened around the edge of the table when he was frustrated, the loneliness behind his fury. And then she said one word: Famiglia. It was soft, almost fragile, yet it echoed louder than his cane had moments earlier. The old man froze. His jaw, mid-complaint, slowly closed. The dining room seemed to lean in. Even his son straightened, confusion flickering across his face. Sofia swallowed, her courage rising from somewhere deeper than fear. She explained gently that the chef had prepared a traditional Italian dish that evening, inspired by southern coastal recipes, simple, hearty, made to remind people of home. She said that food tastes different when it feels like famiglia, like belonging. The transformation was almost imperceptible at first. Vittorio's eyes, once sharp and guarded, flickered with something warmer. A memory, perhaps? A kitchen in Naples. His mother's laughter. A wooden table crowded with cousins. A time before boardrooms and billion-dollar contracts. For decades, he had demanded respect through intimidation. It was the language of business he understood, but this word, famiglia, was the language of his childhood. Sofia continued serving him that night with steady hands. She described the ingredients not as items on a plate, but as stories. Tomatoes ripened under Mediterranean sun, olive oil pressed from trees that had seen generations come and go, bread baked the way her nonna once did in a small village oven. Her voice did not tremble anymore. It carried warmth, not fear. Vittorio listened. His son watched in disbelief. This was the same man who had fired executives for less than a delayed greeting. Yet here he sat, silent, absorbing the words of a waitress whose name he did not even know. When the dish arrived, Sofia placed it before him carefully. For a long moment, he only stared at it. The restaurant held its breath. Then he took a bite. The change was visible. Not dramatic, not theatrical, but real. His shoulders lowered slightly. The lines around his mouth softened. He chewed slowly, thoughtfully, as if tasting more than food. He did not praise it immediately. Pride still stood guard, but he did not complain. As the evening unfolded, something extraordinary happened. Vittorio began asking questions, not about profits or service, but about Sofia's family. Where they were from, how long they had been in the country, whether her father still cooked traditional meals at home. It was the first time in years that staff saw him speak without anger. Sofia answered honestly. She told him about hospital visits after her shifts, about her father's fading strength, about how he still insisted on teaching her old Italian proverbs between breaths. She did not ask for sympathy. She simply shared truth. The old man listened with a stillness that carried regret. By the end of the meal, the billionaire's father did something no one expected. He thanked her. The word sounded foreign on his tongue, unused but sincere. The next morning, the restaurant owner received an anonymous donation large enough to cover the staff's yearly bonuses. Later that week, Sofia's father was transferred to a private specialist whose fees were quietly handled. No press, no announcement, no signature attached. But Sofia knew, because a few days later, a handwritten note arrived at the restaurant addressed to her. Inside, just one sentence written in careful, aging script. Never forget where you come from. Famiglia is everything. The staff never looked at Vittorio De Luca the same way again. They realized that behind power can live loneliness, behind anger can live longing. And sometimes the bravest act is not confrontation, but compassion. Sofia returned to her double shifts, but something had changed within her. She no longer felt invisible. She understood that even the hardest hearts remember softness. Even the richest men crave connection. And sometimes, a single word spoken with sincerity can break walls built over a lifetime. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who believes in compassion, and subscribe for more stories that remind us of humanity's quiet strength. Your support helps keep these stories alive. And before this story ends, I have a special request for you. Comment the word Famiglia below if you believe that kindness can reach places power never will. Because in a world where no one dared speak to the billionaire's father, it wasn't wealth or status that changed him. It was a young woman who chose courage over fear, empathy over silence, and reminded a lonely old man that no empire is greater than the feeling of belonging.